Hello, and welcome to Chaos in the Class. We are reading from Kingfisher Epic The Iliad. So I want everyone to grab your books, and we are going to start with Zeus's Message. Now, on your books, this should be page 77. And remember, our Kingfisher Epic is being retold by Nick McCarty. I'm reading aloud, so my name is Mrs. Fuller. Brenda Fuller is my name, and it's illustrated by Victor Ambrus. So here we are going into today's read aloud, Zeus's Message. Let's find out what's going on. Achilles sat on the sand by the Greek ships and played dice with his warriors. He ignored the distant sound of the roaring battle. Ajax had a partner in battle, an archer named Teucer. Ajax would shield him as he prepared his curved horn bow, and then move his shield aside for Teucer to locate his target. Instantly, an arrow hissed home to some Trojan throat, eye, or brain. They searched for Hector, the bravest Trojan in the field. Then Teucer saw him in the thick of battle. He bent his bow and aimed. His first arrow killed one of Priam's younger sons, and the second killed Hector's charioteer. Hector called another to take the reins, and he leaped to the ground. Picking up a rock, he headed right for Teucer, who had left the protection of Ajax's shield. Teucer was aiming Hector threw the sharp stone. It struck the archer's shoulder and numbed his arm. Hector moved in for the kill. But Ajax protected Teucer with his mighty shield. Two Greeks lifted the groaning archer and carried him out of danger. High up on Mount Olympus, the goddesses wept for the Greeks, who were being hurled back again. Hector ordered the Trojans to set fire to the ships when they reached them. Without their ships, the Greeks would be stranded. Hera and Athene begged Zeus to give the Greeks chance. Zeus sent a message from where he lay, resting as the sun set across the wine-darked sea. Now, do you notice how the author there is calling sunset the wine-darked sea? So when you are writing, add some of those very colorful words to make your writing exciting. Zeus sent a message from where he lay, resting as the sun set across the wine-darked sea. Those goddesses know what will happen if they even think of interfering. Tell them, he told his messenger, Hector will harass his enemies until Achilles fights. And that will not be until the Trojans are closing in on the ships, carrying burning brands. The Greeks will fight to protect Patroclus, Achilles' friend, who is not dead yet. Then, and only then, will Achilles join the battle. So Zeus is really wanting Achilles to get in there. The sun set crimson over the Black Sea. The Trojans withdrew, to great relief of the Greeks, who had been longing for the sun to leave the sky. It had vanished just in time. So a lot of times back then, they would quit fighting when the sun went down. That was because nobody could see what they were doing. An apology. Ooh, I wonder who's apologizing. You can take a moment and write in your ELA journal your prediction. Well, who do you think is apologizing to whom? It was cold on the beaches when the sun fell into the sea. The Greeks huddled behind their wall. They could smell meat cooking on the Trojans' fires, just beyond their defenses. They were afraid. Agamemnon walked along the beach, touched his tall ships, prayed to Zeus, and decided to call together the war council. So these are like the big leaders, okay, the war council. When they had gathered, he lifted his powerful head, and they saw tears in his eyes. 10 years ago, he said, I told you that Zeus promised me we'd destroy the mighty towers of Troy and bring back Helen with 1,000 Trojan women. He has abandoned me. The chiefs were appalled. As Agamemnon went on, I believe we must launch our ships for home. Troy will never fall to us. He looked away from their accusing eyes. They knew he was testing them this time. Diomedes stood up and said what the others felt. I blame you. Your stupid argument with Achilles over a woman lost us that great fighter. You accused others of cowardice. You should have set an example. Courage is the secret of power. Oh, wow. Love hearing that. Courage is the secret of power. Isn't that a beautiful metaphor? Courage equals secret of power. Do you see how that works? Zeus may have given you the imperial scepter and the homage it deserves, but he didn't give you courage. If you want to go, go. If anyone else wants to go, then you, or with you, then I say go. I'll stay and fight, alone if I have to. We shall win. The gods will us to. So he's thinking the gods are on their side. Little does he know that Zeus has told everybody, back off. But then again, remember, in Greek mythology, this is what their belief system is. So they're believing that Zeus is a real god and that Zeus has these magical mystic powers along with the other gods to find favor with them. And if not, then there are some great disasters that can happen, like lightning. We already saw this in this book, or a flood, or a drought, or some other unexplained events to them. Could be an earthquake. Oh, remember, one of the gods is the earth shaker. Okay, so remember, this is what they think is happening. As the men applauded Diomedes for that huge, great speech that he just gave, Nestor the wise rose to speak. Oh, wonder what Nestor's got to say here. Agamemnon, son of Atreus, king of men, he said formally, Zeus made you high king of a great people. You must remember not only to give advice, but also to listen to it. Nestor looked around him, and everyone present hung on his words. You must bring Achilles back into the fold. Apologize to him. There was a long pause. Agamemnon slowly lifted his head and looked at the circle of silent men, the fire east, flickering shadows over their battle-weary faces. Agamemnon, king of men, bowed his head. Okay, let's stop right there for just a minute and let's talk about an apology, because it's kind of a nice little life lesson that's going on. You got to apologize to your friend. Your friend is gone and not in here, and we really need Achilles in the fight. One of the ways for apologizing is, we've all heard it in school. We've all heard somebody just go, sorry. Do you feel apologized to? No, not at all. So let's look at the person in their eyes. Let's use a very calm and sincere voice. Let's really say what it is that you apologize for. I had a mom recently say, dude, you do not need to say sorry. You're not sorry. We apologize. We apologize for our actions, and we explain what our plan is for doing better. So you're going to say, I apologize for, and state it. Own it. And then give some reasons about how you're going to do things better and make things right. Okay, so here we are with, he's being told, dude, you need to apologize to Achilles. Okay, Agamemnon, king of men, bowed his head. So he's like, probably ought to think this over. Let's look at this picture. Look at that. Kind of wonder what's in his cup. What is that? It almost looks like a water vessel and a bowl. Remember, they didn't have just a sink that they could just go turn on. Life was a little tough back then. You had to find everything yourself. And remember, they're operating out of a boat. They're not operating out of their houses. He said, I will do it, he said, and I will give him great gifts. When we return home, he can choose a wife from my 3 daughters. Briseis will be sent back to him. She has not been touched since she has been at my camp. Send messengers to ask Achilles if he will hear me. He sat down among the chiefs as they chose the messengers to make the offer to Achilles. Ajax was to go with Odysseus, the old fox, whom the chiefs thought Achilles might listen to most favorably. While the messengers set out along the foreshore to Achilles' encampment, Nestor and Diomedes sent sentries to guard the walls. Remember, those sentries are those, the ones that are, if you're on sentry duty, you're probably lower in the ranks, but it's an important job to watch over and to warn whenever there could be an attack. I missed a sentence. Hold on. So while the messengers set out along the foreshores to Achilles' encampment, Nestor and Diomedes sent sentries to guard the walls and ditch the wall and ditch that kept the Trojans at bay. Now, the word at bay there means at a distance. A bright moon reflected silver over the calm waters of the sea. As Ajax and Odysseus approached Achilles' hut, they heard the sound of a silver lyre. As the 2 messengers entered the hut, they were confronted by Patroclus, who sat listening to his friend. Achilles stopped playing and stood up politely for the 2 older men. You are welcome, Lords Odysseus and Ajax. I have heard, Lord Ajax, that you were magnificent in battle against the mighty Hector, and also, Lord Odysseus, that you sent many a Trojan into the night that never ends. So in other words, the author is saying you killed a lot of the enemies. Please sit and eat. The men drank wine together. Achilles knew why the 2 men had come, but he gave no sign. They ate grilled meat, brought to them by Patroclus, and eventually Odysseus judged the time was right. My lord, he began his every day that bell. My lord, as Achilles also spoke, Odysseus. Both men stopped and smiled, and Achilles politely indicated that Odysseus should speak first. We face disaster. The Trojans are at our wall, threatening destruction. Zeus favors them. So they think the god of Zeus favors them. Hector has run berserk through our army and fears no one. He waits impatiently for the dawn so that he can send our ships up in flames and slaughter us all by their charred holes. There is no mercy shown, none. Your father was my dear friend, Odysseus went on. Achilles sat silent. I know he told you that the goddesses Athene and Hera would make you strong. Keep a check on your pride. And remember, kindness is best. We need you. We Greeks need the mighty Achilles, and Agamemnon admits his fault to you. So he's building him up and says, look, Agamemnon's saying he's wrong here. He said he's wrong. Odysseus and Ajax told the silent Achilles of the gifts Agamemnon had promised. They begged him to accept the gifts and come to fight with them. So what is happening is Agamemnon's trying to make things right. and trying to say, come on, come be a part of this. I'm sorry. I apologize. Oops, see what I said there? If you can't forgive Agamemnon the wrongs he has done, then pity our warriors who are exhausted and face tomorrow with fear in their hearts. So it's kind of got a ripple effect. If you cast a stone into the middle of a pond, it doesn't just plop right in the middle. Those ripples continue to move. And so that's what he's kind of saying here is, look, it's not just Agamemnon. If you don't come be a part of this, a lot of men are going to lose their lives. Ajax pleaded with the silent man. Odysseus offered him temptation. Hector yells across no man's land that there is no Greek to match him, no one who can beat him. Maybe that's the truth, said the old fox silkily. Achilles looked up, and for a moment, Odysseus thought he had hooked his man. So in other words, Odysseus is going, hey, Hector's saying there's nobody. And Achilles is like, I can take him. That's the thought process that's going on. So Odysseus is kind of being a really tricky guy going, yeah, dude, you really want that? Okay, Achilles shook his head. Odysseus, I struggled day in and day out, year in and year out, and received no thanks from Agamemnon. Then he took my prize. He pretends to be brave, but he rewards the cowards. We have fought hard, mighty Ajax, and you too, Odysseus, who knew my father. I do not respect Agamemnon. We are here to take home Helen, wife of Menelaus. Maybe Menelaus loves Helen. Maybe Helen loves Paris. I know. I love Briseis. Agamemnon took her and gives her back untouched, and no doubt will take her again if he chooses to, because he is high king. I will not fight him for her. I will not fight for him. Odysseus tried to persuade the younger man. Achilles shook his head sadly. When I was fighting, no Trojan came within a bow shot of our ships. Now they sit outside the walls and wait for the morning light. Then they will fall on the ships with blazing torches. So be it. Tomorrow I load my ships, making an offering to Zeus, and leave. At dawn, look out to sea, and you will see my men at their oars, and the fish dancing in the water beside us. Tell your king that I will take my prizes, all save Briseis, whom I love more than gold, silver, iron, or bronze, but not more than my honor, which has been insulted. Tell him in front of other chiefs, and don't come again. Agamemnon is crazy, jealous, and grasping, and he has his reward. As for his gifts, I like them as little as I like the man. So in other words, he's going, this offer's not that big of a deal to me. I would not have any daughter of his as my wife, as lovely as Aphrodite or as clever as Athene, though they may be. No, thank you, not for me. The messengers collected their cloaks as Achilles finished speaking and walked slowly to the door of the hut. Before they stepped into the darkness, he added quietly, I honor you, Ajax, for your courage, and you, my lord Odysseus, for your cunning. I believe Zeus will not let Troy be taken, so I suggest that you two sail for home on the morning ride. The messengers waited. He went on, I swear this, even if I stay, I will not think of battle unless Prince Hector, son of wise Priam, reaches my warriors' ships. If he tries to torch my black ships, Hector may find himself stopped. Odysseus and Ajax walked away from the Achilles' ships, which lay close enough to the water for it to lap against the hulls. Both men were disappointed by their failure to change Achilles' mind. They took his message to Agamemnon's hut, where the chieftains waited. Odysseus told them bluntly, and I left them appalled and angry. My lord, said Diomedes, you have fed his pride by making your offer. He's a stiff-necked man. In other words, he's still mad. We must be ready for the attack. Oh, you hear that? That music that the author's put in there? Doom, doom, doom. This is surely coming at dawn. I suggest we try to sleep. Now, would you be able to sleep if there's a major war that's about to happen and you're going to be in the middle of it? I don't think I could sleep. They stepped out into the moonlight. All around them lay the shapes of warriors lying under blankets and lion skin sleeping. Lions, and they're under blankets and lion skins sleeping. Okay. The ambush. All right, that's where we are going to start tomorrow. The ambush. This is getting so good. Okay, boys and girls, this is, and fellow teachers and colleagues, this is Mrs. Fuller with Chaos in the Class. Hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are putting up more read alouds, science experiments, math, all kinds of things this year. So take a look at our channel and enjoy learning right along with us. Have a great day.